Okay, what if I told you there's a way to feel richer by actually spending less on stuff? I know, it sounds a little backward, right? But it's the whole idea behind a growing movement called Frugal Optimism. So today, we're going to break down this philosophy that's totally flipping our relationship with money and happiness on its head.
So let's just start with a huge question. What does being rich even mean anymore? For so long, the answer felt pretty simple. Owning more stuff. You know, the bigger house, the faster car, just more. But as we're about to see, that entire definition is really starting to fall apart.
To really get where we're going, we've got to look back at the old rules. We're talking about a world built on consumerism, where your success was basically measured by what you owned and what you could show off. It was the era of flexing.
But here's the thing. A massive shift is happening. A new generation, one that's way more financially savvy, is looking at this whole flexing culture with a lot of skepticism. They're asking this really powerful question. Does owning more things actually make your life any better?
And this really gets to the heart of the conflict between two totally different ways of thinking. The old world, it was all about assets. This drive to own things, which, let's be honest, always comes with the headache and cost of upkeep. But the new world is all about access. Choosing experiences over items, loving the freedom of simplicity, and really leading into the sharing economy. It's a fundamental change in what we value.
So this pivot leads us straight to the new mindset that's really starting to take hold. It's a conscious, deliberate move away from the burdens of owning stuff and towards the incredible freedom of just having access to it.
And this new mindset? Well, it actually has a name. Frugal Optimism. The whole concept is simple, but it's also pretty transformative. You intentionally cut back your spending on stuff you don't really need, not just to save money, but to redirect those funds toward things that genuinely enrich your life, your soul.
This idea really captures the philosophy perfectly. The new way to measure wealth isn't about what you can park in your garage. It's about what you carry inside you, your memories, your personal growth, and, honestly, your sense of inner peace.
And let's be super clear about the why here. This is not about being forced to have less because of poverty. Not at all. It's a strategic, conscious choice. People are embracing frugal optimism to buy back their most valuable asset, their time. They're using that time to invest in themselves, to travel, to learn, and to pursue hobbies that actually make their lives better.
Okay, so we've talked about the philosophy, but how does this actually work in real life? You're probably wondering, how do I actually do this? Well, let's break down the practical steps to actually living with frugal optimism. It really boils down to 3 key actions. First, you curate. You become super selective and intentional about what you buy. Then you digitize. You use tech to track your money so you know exactly where every dollar is going. And finally, the most important part, you reallocate. You invest the money you've saved directly into your own growth and well-being.
Let's dive into that first step, curate. It all comes down to asking yourself one simple but powerful question before you buy anything that's not an essential. Will this add real value to my life in the next year? This little filter helps you realize, wow, your money often has a much better, more fulfilling job it could be doing.
And the payoff here isn't just about the money. Seriously, as the source material points out, when you get rid of the weight and stress of just managing all your stuff, you literally free up mental space. All that new energy can then be poured into your career, your creativity, or building something incredible.
Now, this isn't just about you and your wallet. It's a movement that's having a huge impact on the economy. So let's zoom out for a second and see how frugal optimism is creating this whole economy of experience and completely shaking up the business world.
So in this new reality, businesses have to adapt, or they risk getting left behind. We're seeing this explosion in the sharing economy, everything from cars to office spaces. Subscription models are everywhere because they give you access without the burden of ownership. And today's consumers, they demand total transparency on everything, from how much something costs to make to its environmental impact. In this world, honesty is the best marketing, for real.
What we're really seeing is a generation that defines a good life in a totally new way. It's not about having the most. It's about being organized, being intentional, and living a meaningful life that's free from the trap of pointless debt.
Okay, so we've looked at the big picture. Let's bring it all back to the most important person in this conversation, you. Because at the end of the day, frugal optimism is about taking back control of your own happiness.
This quote just nails the main takeaway. Think about it for a second. The things you buy are temporary. They break, They get lost, they go out of style, but the investments you make in yourself, your skills, your knowledge, your health, those are assets that just keep growing and paying you back for the rest of your life.
So I'll leave you with a final thought, a little challenge straight from the source material. Take a second and think about your 3 biggest expenses from last week. Now, ask yourself honestly, did the value you got truly match the happiness you felt? Or could that money have been better spent investing in you? The answer just might change everything.